Hello and welcome back. This is Coach Jim again, and now we're going to go over objects in arrays. So specifically, this is going to be used in hash tables, which are really just associative arrays. But for our purposes, I'm just going to keep calling them arrays, but they're technically hash tables that we're loading these into. So I just want to make sure we were clear on that before moving forward. This is going to be really important when we start connecting to APIs online and collecting football data because we'll be parsing through it typically in PowerShell with objects and arrays. It's going to be returned as an array of objects. So what we're going to do is initialize an array just for the NFC North, and we're going to set custom PowerShell objects in it. So I'm going to go ahead and start by defining the object or the array. And what we'll do is we'll define it, do at, and then parenthesis, but we'll press enter. Now we're at sort of a subprompt to be able to define custom things within the array. So what we're going to do is a PS custom object. And we will do a couple of different, go through all the teams here. So do PS custom objects in brackets at, and now we're going to set the parameters or set the variables or attributes of the object, I should say, the attributes of the object. And we'll start by just saying name, and that will be the team name. So we'll do Chicago Bears. Close, put the value, these are going to be strings, so we're putting them in single quotes. And we'll just do head coach equals, and I can't think of who the Bears coach is off the top of my head right now. Oh, okay. Matt Eberflus. And those are, I think, all the attributes we're going to define for the moment, just for this object. So we'll go ahead and close that bracket and press enter. And we will go ahead and define another one. We'll just work our way through the NFC North. Oops. Name equals Detroit Lions. Ooh, I definitely don't know because I believe he just got fired. Not always the best best track record over there with my Lions, but we're used to it. Dan Campbell. Okay. Green Bay Packers. And their head coach is Matt LaFleur, which I actually should have known that. And lastly, the Minnesota Vikings. And Kevin O'Connell. I think I'll have to escape that O or that apostrophe. we'll just ignore that. I'm not gonna get bogged down in that. So kind of like that. Okay. Now we've got all of our custom objects inside of the NFC North. And what we do now is we close the parenthesis that's up here. And boom, we've got our array of objects. So if you look at each element within the array, we can just print the very first one. It'll give us both all the attributes of the object that's in element 0 of the array, which is pretty interesting, and then you can iterate through those. But the cool thing about it is if we go back up to this again, I can just say name. I can now access the name attribute of the of the element 0 object just by pressing that. So we're going to do this kind of thing when we start scraping data with not scraping data, but connecting data, accessing data, pulling data from the web request APIs. I think that's about it. We could show more examples, but I think you guys get it. If we obviously could do a head coach and get that returned. And then, of course, too, we can iterate through these. I'm going to go over later when we get to looping. This will be really important where we can actually go through a loop, but I think we'll just save that for the looping lesson. But I think this is a pretty good idea, just seeing how to access the attributes of an object within an array. So with that, we'll go ahead and move.